Working with high-paying clients is way more than just increasing your photography prices. You also have to elevate your client experience. So in this Leveling Up Your Client Experience series, I'll be going over the consultation call and sharing why it's good to actually have a consultation call over just sending out emails, and also going in depth into the things you should be covering on the call in order to build a rapport with your prospective client and also seal the booking. When I first started my photography business, I used to communicate with my prospective clients via email only, and I'll send over my packages as well. And then we'll just go back and forth, and then they decide if they want to book me or not. However, when I decided to change my business model, I wanted to create a more high-end boudoir studio. I knew that I needed to change several things. And one of the biggest things to me at that time was moving on to doing a consultation call. So for me, it was quite daunting because I didn't really like talking on the phone to people. It also brought up feelings of cold callers. It felt like I had to be salesy, and it just brought up this yucky feeling, and I was just like, oh no, do I really have to? But if you're in this situation and you're thinking on similar veins about why you may not want to do a consultation call, I'll share some reasons why it's good. But what I would like to say off the bat is, remember, you're not going to be cold calling anyone. These are people who have requested, information from you. They've either filled out the contact form on your website, or they've sent you a DM or a message on social media asking you for information. They've given you their emails and their phone numbers. So they are expecting you to call. So already that takes out, that cold caller vibe. And so this is a time for you to also ascertain whether you're a good fit for each other. They want to know if they would love to book your service, and you also should be wanting to know if they're a good fit for your business. Do you want to work with them? Not everyone you have to work with, after all, it's your business. So the call is a good way to just, go through all of that process. So the first reason why I'll give why it's good to do a call is that it's more personable. So prospective clients, especially for me in the boudoir niche, it's such an intimate, photo shoot. They want to hear your voice. They want to get a sense of who they're talking to, who they're going to be quite vulnerable to. So in the past, I've actually had several people say, oh, I feel much more comfortable talking to you now. They get a sense of who you are. If you've not experienced that before, you may think, what do you mean? But actually, I've had several occasions where I would just meet a stranger on the road. We just have a brief conversation, and they just say, there's something about me, there's something about my aura that is calming, and they find open and friendly. So I'm quite happy that I now do phone calls because, clients who are feeling nervous, they can talk to me on the phone and hear my voice and just get a sense of my aura. And, I also find people who come to the photo shoot on the day say, oh, I was so nervous, but as soon as I met you, I felt comfortable. To me, that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. And so just doing that call also helps you to be more personable to your prospective clients. You're not just this words on the website they've reading, or this smile or this image they've seen your headshot. They begin to put a sense of who you are. Another reason why it's good to have a call, it's a much higher touch point than an email. It's quite professional, quite serious. So people who are inquiring with you also have to be serious. They're not taking the mic. And it's quite good to do it that way, I would say, especially if you're on a luxury high-end studio end, then you definitely want to do that because you're taking the time to talk to your client. You're dedicating that time. They're actually not even your client yet, but you want to hear from them. You want to learn about, the reasons why they're doing this, why they want to do this photo shoot. You want to talk about their ideas, talk about yours as well, explain your process and all of that. It just means both parties are serious because time is valuable in today's world. And then the third, of course, it saves time going back and forth. They have so many questions and then they're just emailing. And some people don't email immediately, right? Some people will take a day, it will take 2 days, it will take 3 hours, take 5 hours. You can literally be on a call for 10 minutes and you've gone through everything. But by the time you're going back and forth in an email, it's just a drag and just a lot of admin time. So that's another great reason it's good to have a call. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over the things you should go through on the call. And so what I would say is make a list of some of the things you want to say or create a script so you don't forget. So usually when I start my call, once they've picked up, I'll start by introducing myself and have, saying a greeting. Usually they'll reply back and then I'll tell them what this call is about. I'll be like, thanks for your inquiry. This call is to try to understand what you want for the photo shoot. And I'm also going to explain my whole process and my pricing details and what to expect on the day. So basically just a quick summary of what the call is going to be about. And then now I'll be like, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Well, my contact form already has a section in it where I ask them, what's your story? Why do you want to do this photo shoot? So once they've written that and you've obviously received that already, when you're asking your first initial questions, you then want to you want to make your questions relevant to what they've said. So if they've said, oh, this is for my birthday, then of course you're asking them, oh, how old would you be? It's a milestone birthday. Do you have any themes? Do you have any colors, ideas? Things like that would help. If they talk about, oh, I'm doing this because boudoir is oh, I've broken up from a relationship, this is for my self-healing journey, then I'll ask them things on those lines as well. So I'm also personalizing my questions and the conversation to them so they see that, oh, okay, this person is invested in my reasons for wanting to do this and is going to tailor this service for me in particular. And so I would ask questions like, okay, why, what's inspired you to do a photo shoot here and now? Do you have any ideas, creative ideas for what you would like it to look like? If they say no, I say that's fine. I help you through that process. I have a preparation guide, so I tell them about my preparation guide, what it contains, and the different things I've created in there to help them. And then I also ask them, okay, once you've had the photo shoot done, what sort of products are you thinking of? Do you want an album? Do you want prints, wall art? Just trying to understand where in their buying process they are at, if they've thought about that or not. And so all of this, you're just building rapport. Some people, it's quite quickly, they answer these questions, few sentences, and we move over. Some people, that conversation opens up things. They're like, oh, actually, years ago, I was going through, and they just start spilling, their experiences, and it becomes quite a bonding moment, and you're listening and asking thoughtful questions and quipping in as well and all of that. It makes it really personable, and you're building rapport in that way. Anyway, when all those questions are ended, not too long, it's not an interview, I then go and say, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with me. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about my process and what to expect. So I started by talking about what's included in my service. I say there's hair and makeup included, there's a professional artist, I talk about how we tailor the looks, and then I go ahead talk about styling. I talk about how many outfit changes are included. Then I talk about how they're able to see the images on the same day. And then you also want to tell them the start time, end time. So if you have that, you share that. I know some people you shoot whenever, you can book a studio at 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. But for me, my studio, we start at a particular time and it takes a particular approximate amount of hours. So I share that. I also tell them what days of the week I do my sessions. And so, yeah, so that's sort of like the summary of the process I give them. And then I move over to like my pricing and packages. So at this point, you then want to go over like, what your pricing is, what the packages are, what's included, how much they can look to spend. You also talk about your payment options. Do you offer payment plans? What are the terms? What are what do you expect from them? Other pertinent, terms and conditions as well. You want to relay that to them. So it's quite a lot of information I give them, but from experience, I know these are questions most people have about doing a boudoir photo shoot. So by the time I come to the end, I'm like, I know I've said a lot, but I know these are all things you would want to know. But of course, do you have any other questions? Lots of people were like, no, actually, all the questions I had, you already went through them. I was just like, tick, 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 tick. I'm like, yes, that's what I love to hear. Some people may just be like, they may ask question, which I've sort of answered, but they've asked in a different way. Maybe they want something clarified. So I clarify that as well. Or if there are other questions I didn't go over, like, how long in advance should I book? And then I go through, talk to them about that. You just answer their questions anyway. And so once that is done, you've answered the question, they have no more questions. Always get ready to book them over the call. You want to seal the deal. And so I ask, and usually in my contact form as well, I've also sort of stated, what month would you like to do your session? And so some people would say, I don't know, or January or December or whatever. And so I ask, would you still like to do your session in March? If they say yes, I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, let's look at the calendars. Let's see what dates are available. And I'm saying that, letting them know, okay, we're moving along in that process. So in a way, I'm not saying, do you want to book? But I'm sort of saying, okay, let's look at the calendars and see what dates are available. So I opened up my calendar. That way, I'm giving them the opportunity to say, I was actually thinking of maybe the 18th or the 20th or whatever. Or if maybe they're not ready to book for whatever reason, they'll be like, you know what? Actually, let me think about the information you've given to me and I'll get back to you. So at that juncture, you're sort of giving them an opening to tell you what direction, they would love to go. Do they want to go ahead and book a date? Or do they want to close up the conversation because they're not ready yet, and you just take it from there. And so what to do next? If they decide to book, once you've booked them, so for me, I take my session fee over the call. I have a payment processor I use, log into that, get their bank details, create a customer profile for them, take that money, and once that is done, I'll be like, thank you, payment has gone through. So shortly you receive another email from me which has my contract, and then if you can please sign this within 24 hours. Once that is done, you receive a welcome pack from me which contains my preparation guide, my pricing menu, and some other information to help you prepare. Between now and the date of your session, you're going to get periodical emails from me checking in on you, finding out how you're doing. And at any point, if you have any questions, feel free to respond to any of those emails, or you can also reach me on this number. And then it's like, thank you, lovely chatting, la-di-da-di-da. And we end the conversation. And so that's it. So I then cut the call and then go into my CRM. Now, if you don't know what a CRM is, or you don't know what CRM to use, I've created a video a couple of months ago where I talked about the 6 softwares every photographer needs. I'm going to leave that link above. Click on that, watch it after this video, and check out, why it's good to have a CRM. So I basically put them in the workflow of the CRM as a booked client, and that just starts to automatically send them other information. So now if they don't book, I say, okay, thank you, call me back whenever you've decided, if you want to think about it or whatever. And then once that call is ended, I go into my email software. So I do have an email sequence. So apart from my general newsletter where I just send general information or updates about the business, I also have another email sequence where I've created a list of emails for people who didn't book with me. And so I'll add them to that sequence. And that sequence runs a series of other emails and other things, I probably can create. If you want me to actually create a video on what that email contains, leave a comment down below, like this post. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers. So subscribe and I'll create a video telling you the different email sequences you can have to, deliver to clients. And that's it. And it sounds like a lot, but literally, if it's a straightforward conversation, about 10-12 minutes it takes. I've had conversations that have been 30 minutes long, an hour long even, but those have been clients who are really chatty, and then we've bonded over something similar and the conversation has just gone on. But it's usually a beautiful experience. One of the things I love about being a business owner is that I really love this. I love, interacting, engaging with, the people who are booking with me. It's such a personal experience, and it's not just like a transactional thing for like, here is money, do this for me. No, it's actually a value exchange where I'm pouring into them, they're pouring into me. And so whenever we have these long conversations, like when you think on a business perspective, you don't want to be on a call for an hour, but not every client does that. One or two does it every here and there, and I'm always happy to give that time. And I just love to, interact and bond with humans, because I'm like, there are millions and billions of humans on this planet. I'm not going to meet everyone, but the few ones I come across, I always want it to be a positive interaction. So anyway, that is it. Having a consultation call is very important because you're showing an upfront value to your prospective clients, and it also helps you weed out the price shoppers, those people who all they're interested in is in the price and not the value or the process and the quality and the service you provide. And so because they often don't want to even spend the time, like 10 minutes on the call, you're sort of weeding them out once they know this is the only way to get information about what your service is all about. And if you feel like you're nervous about having these calls when you're first starting out, I would say definitely have a script to hand. I listed all the things I wanted to talk about, and now literally it's just like it's memorized in my head. I just read it off like a script, but literally I'm not reading a script. I just say it as it comes. And so it's really important to have this consultation call. It's more professional. You're leveling up your business. You're giving that value, and you're also getting to find out if this person is a good fit for your business, because it's not just about them choosing you. You also have to choose to work with them. Anyway, I hope this video has given you good information about, why to do a consultation call and what your consultation process should be like. If you found value in this video, then I definitely know you'll enjoy this one, where I talk about the things I wish I knew when I first started my photography business. And remember, you don't have to be a struggling artist. See you next week.